My name is Jennifer. I am 29 years old. I was already crying the last time I told him I loved him. I did not know that love could end while someone was still standing right in front of you. I only knew that something inside me was closing, slowly and quietly, and I could not stop it. I met him 3 years before that moment. I was late for work, angry at everything, and had just spilled coffee on my shirt. He was standing behind me in line. When I turned around, he smiled. It was slow and warm, and for just 1 second, my anger disappeared. He said, "Rough morning." I nodded. That was all. But something inside me softened in a way I had never felt before. We started talking after that. Small messages, small jokes, nothing serious. I told myself it meant nothing. But my days quietly changed. I checked my phone before getting out of bed. I smiled at his messages on the bus. Time moved slowly when I waited for him and too fast when I was with him. He noticed things about me that no one else ever had. The way I twisted my ring when I was nervous. The way I drank my coffee too quickly. No one had ever watched me like that. I felt seen. I felt chosen. I did not understand then how dangerous that feeling could be. We built a life together in small, ordinary ways. Friday dinners, Sunday walks, messages every night. His jacket stayed on my chair. His toothbrush stood next to mine. These were small objects, but they felt like promises. Sometimes his phone would light up and he would turn it face down. I noticed a small pain would pass through me, but I pushed it away. I told myself I was imagining things. I told myself I was lucky. The first lie was gentle. He said he was working late. I believed him and sent a message saying, "Don't forget to eat." He never replied. When he came home, I smelled a perfume that was not mine. My chest tightened. The question sat in my throat. I smiled instead. That was the first time I betrayed myself, but it would not be the last. The late nights continued. His eyes changed. He still touched me, but there was distance in it. His hands were warm, but his attention was cold. I started watching every movement, every word. Love had turned me into a detective, and I hated that version of myself. Then one afternoon, I used his phone to order food. A message appeared on the screen. Just one line. "I miss last night." My hands froze. I read it again and again, waiting for the words to change. They never did. When he came out of the shower and smiled at me, I held the phone and asked, "Who is this?" My voice was calm. That scared me. He laughed and said it was a friend, nothing important. He kissed my forehead and told me I worried too much. I let him take the phone. I let the moment pass. I let myself disappear a little more. After that, I began to shrink. I spoke less. I laughed less. I stopped asking questions because silence felt safer than answers. I told myself that love meant patience. I told myself love meant trust, but trust was already broken. I just refused to look at the pieces. The turning point came on an ordinary Tuesday. My phone buzzed at work. It was a photo not meant for me. It was him, smiling in a way I had not seen in months. His arm was around a woman I did not know. Her head rested against his chest. They looked comfortable. They looked real. They looked like us, but happier. My hands started shaking. I walked to the bathroom, locked the door, and sat on the cold floor with my back against the wall. I stared at the photo until my eyes burned. I did not cry at first. I only felt empty. Then the tears came quietly. My body shook, but no sound came out. I pressed my hand over my mouth. I did not want the world to know I was falling apart. In that moment, I saw everything clearly. Every late night, every turned phone, every soft lie. He was living another life, and I was just a place he visited. I washed my face, returned to my desk, and finished my work. My hands moved on their own. Inside, I was screaming, but the outside world stayed perfectly normal. That contrast felt unbearable. When he came home that evening and kissed my cheek, I looked at him and saw a stranger wearing a familiar face. I held my phone out between us without saying a word. The silence stretched. The truth moved across his face slowly. He tried to speak, stopped, tried again. Only broken excuses came out. I listened and felt nothing, which frightened me more than anger. I asked one question. How long? He told me. The number was small when he said it. It was enormous when I heard it. Months. Months of shared mornings, shared dinners, and lies placed gently in my hands like gifts. I told him to leave. My voice was soft. He waited for me to change my mind. I did not. I knew that if I spoke again, I would beg him to stay. When the door finally closed, the apartment felt enormous. The silence pressed against my ears. I sat on the floor and looked at the empty chair where his jacket used to hang. I waited to feel relief. It never came. Only grief arrived, heavy and endless. Days passed like that. I moved through them like a ghost. I went to work, answered messages, smiled when I had to. Inside, I replayed everything, searching for the moment I had lost him. Slowly, something new began to grow. It was small at first, almost invisible. It was anger, but not at him. It was anger at myself, for accepting less than I deserved, for calling pain love, for staying quiet while my heart was screaming. That anger woke me up. I started taking long walks at night. The cold air cleared my head. I watched people passing on the street and realized that everyone was carrying their own story, their own pain. I was not alone in my suffering. That thought was strangely comforting. I began to see him clearly, not as a monster, not as a hero, just as a man who chose lies because they were easy. And I saw myself as a woman who chose silence because it felt safe. We were both simply human. One evening, I made coffee and sat by the window. The pain was still there, but it was softer. It no longer controlled every breath. I understood something new. He did not break me. He only revealed the cracks that were already inside me, and now I could see them. I could touch them. I could begin to repair them. I am still Jennifer. I am still 29. I still carry love inside me, but now it is quieter and more careful. It listens to my fears instead of hiding them. The apartment is mine again. The chair is just a chair, and I sit by the window at night, holding my own story gently, knowing that the love which cracked me open also showed me who I truly am. I am not finished. I am not ruined. I am a glass that cracked but never shattered, still holding light, still whole.